Chapter 99. Tournament Preparations. Hmm, Wait. Tournament Preparations. Translator's Corner. Kanzaki Yuku's story last part. Cast. Two policemen. Walking through the park, two policemen, on their break, were discussing the mass homicide that occurred at a nearby hospital recently. The culprit is yet to be found. Fingerprints of one of the hospital staff members were found on his gasoline canisters, and he is being questioned, but his alibi freed him of suspicion of being the primary perpetrator of the crime. However, he probably will serve a few years, but it's a real shame about the detective, one of the policemen told the other. Which part? The fact that he claimed to have spoken with the person who died last year, or that he believes that the murder and dissection of Miyaguchi Yojiro has something to do with this case? Clearly both. He claims that the deceased Kanzaki Yuko is the perpetrator of both of these incidents. I wonder if all detectives go crazy in the end. He sighed and, feeling that the conversation was far too heavy, decided to lighten the mood. You're meeting your niece after this, right? How about buying a balloon for her from that clown over there? He said, pointing to a female clown selling balloons by the river. She could hardly be called a beauty, perhaps due to the clown paint obscuring her paint. Perhaps due to the clown paint obscuring her face, but she could still be called cute. Approaching her, the policeman purchased a balloon and, charmed by her smile, asked, "May I hear your name?" The clown, mildly surprised, smiled what was perhaps either a melancholic or a benevolent smile and replied, "Clown is the only name for me. Thank you for reading and enjoying the Translator's Corners. If I have time, I'll write another short story, hopefully with a bit more hope this time around." Okay, Founding Demon Capital Arc. Chapter 99. Tournament Preparations. Miles hurried back to his shop. He could have sent a butler ahead of him, but decided not to. Would he really wait for me? Slightly worried, he entered the shop. When he did, he saw that adorable girl, question mark, reclining on in a couch. And when he or she saw Miles, she or he smiled wildly. Yo, that was quick. A speech style that was completely at odds with his or her face. He or she raised a hand in a meeting. That was without a doubt Master Rimuru. Having confirmed that, Miles expressed his heartfelt happiness that Rimuru was still alive and well. The other attendants, seeing their master thus, did not react with any surprise and have been treating Rimuru with respect. I certainly. That was the effect of having spent an hour here alone with him. After setting down the iced tea he was drinking, Rimuru went straight to the point. Well, what? I've got a job request, you see. I'm certain that Murmels will be able to handle it. I've got an event coming up and I want a producer for it. Can I leave it to you? With a wide smile that can only be described as representing all the wickedness of the entire human race, Rimuru asked. Murmels could not read what was on his mind, but was certain that it involved danger. Even so, what kind of event would Donna be talking about? Murmels, for some reason, wanted to hear more. Somehow he's been entranced by this person, without any thought to loss and profit. This kind of unnatural feelings filled him. Perhaps he was now a failure as a merchant. But now that he has become a failure, isn't it the perfect time to serve this being? So he tried imagining what it would be like to serve Rimuru. The very thought filled him with boundless joy. Thus, he heard Rimuru's explanation. He disclosed a shocking proposal. Tempest will be holding a tournament soon, and he wanted to leave it in Murmile's hands. He had described it as amusement, but in short, it really is just a spectacle for the masses. They will create a coliseum to hold 10,000 people to watch and cheer for the contestants. Average people also have the right to watch, perhaps with an entrance fee. It's fine, however, if the entrance is free as long as Tempest's dining and lodging are properly advertised. More importantly, moving the 10,000 guests around, though the highways have been prepared, there's a need to manage the carriage transportation and provisions. Moreover, managing the number of guests, offering lodging, just thinking about the wealth that will move here made his mouth water. Tempest dining and lodging is beyond excellent, so accepting the guests will prove simple. The problem is the permanent stimulation of economy and maximizing the profit. That's the whole point behind this tournament. Too amusing to have prepared such a detailed plan only to leave it in Murmal's hands. This should be left to a pro, no? Don't tell me, Murmals, you lack confidence. Ha 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 ha. How cruel, Rimuru-sama is an evil person. Ha 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 ha. I am, but not as evil as you. The two laughed loudly, with a wicked smile on their faces. You do understand that enormous capital will be moving around here, right? Fu 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 fu. Fret not, this Murmel's field of expertise. I will produce results Rimuru-sama will be completely satisfied with it. I will be completely satisfied with. Enormous capital will flow at this event, just as Rimuru says. What a terrifying being. Just how far can he see? On that note, I may see another way to use the restorative medicine. It is possible to be restored as long as one is not dead, I believe. So perhaps he could sell it to the participants. And the true goal is advertising, right? So that people visit Tempest more times from now on, right? Based on that goal, my job would be, as expected, I'm glad I decided to leave this to you, Mirror Miles. I don't mind if the tournament does not produce any profit. I want to come again. If people live with that feeling, then we have succeeded. I'll leave the invitees to you, all right? They thus shook hands. A terrifying chill assaulted Mirror Miles as ideas poured into his head. There are countless ways to manage an event as a country. Just by allowing people to bet on the winner can produce enormous income. He finally realized the many ideas and the weight of responsibility that this request entailed. And when he did, a boundless excitement filled his body. He could finally do it. He could finally show him. He could finally be of use to Tempest. And then Rimuru added, "Oh, and later, if this goes over well, would you like to join us? Commerce Division Chief of or Merchant Division Chief. Well, the name doesn't matter, but I want to have you assume that post. We are growing pretty big recently, so we need to take control of that sector. How about it? How about it? How about it? How about it?" Question mark. These words, as if playing the strings of his heart, reverberated again and again. With a big nod, he accepted. Of course he would. Rimuru was willing to invest in him to this extent. There was no room for failure. If he did well, he could join his most trusted circle in all of Myrmel's days. More than any dream or hope he has had, he now felt like he has never felt before. This feeling was like sweet nectar that he swore to never let go of. Even after Rimuru left, scheduling the next meeting, the excitement did not lessen. Things will get busy. First, declaring the intent to gather his estate should this event conclude successfully. No, he will make it successful. He has no plans to return to Brumund, so he thus declared, and asked, "What will you do? If you like this mansion, I don't particularly care." And upon hearing these words, all of his attendants replied, "Please permit us to journey with you," they said. At this point, nothing held him back. Even though he had received license from the country, Muir Miles was a guild member. He has the freedom to move between countries. One should always be prepared to move, but letting go of this shop might prove disadvantageous in the future, so he decided to have a few people stay back in case Brumund were to flourish. Ordering his servants to pack, he returned to his store, and he called the head clerk into the office. Before the clerk could even take a seat, "Yo, you've gotten pretty good recently. How about taking over this store?" Straight to the point, blinking a few times, the clerk tried to understand what he just heard. He is, in fact, a son of one of Murimel's relatives and was sent here to study. He is a bright kid that Murimel's took a liking to, but in reality, he lost his original home due to failing horrible, and only became a clerk to have a place to stay. Yet, there's no qualms about his work ethic. He's someone Murimel's could easily depend on. But, Master, what could you possibly mean by that? Unable to believe what he had heard, he timidly asked with a big nod. "The thing is, I've been tasked with an important job. I'll be leaving the country, so I decided to leave the shop to you. Make the store a success and call your parents to visit one day," Muirmile said, patting the clerk on the back with an affectionate smile. In reality, he had only intended to loan the store to him. That is, he fully expected to be able to recover the price of the store. Muirmiles the merchant was not a sweet individual. Moreover, if he can't make the payment, that just shows that he was a failure to begin with. He was motivated by his duty as a teacher. "Thank you, truly, thank you. Definitely, I will definitely repay your benevolence." Finally comprehending what was said, the clerk thanked Muirmiles, ignoring his gratitude. "Work hard," Muirmiles said, nodding, "just in case they set up a contract for exchange of commodities." There was no oversight on this end, and after again being thanked by the clerk, he announced the change in leadership to the rest of the store, and compounding to their surprise, he added, "On a 1 million on a 1 in a million chance that something happens, you are free to consult me. But I'm sure you guys will be able to get settled with the new order right away. Just remember to steer clear of dubious deals with the nobles." Everyone nodded to his words. They have all taken Yormal's teachings to heart, so no one would engage in dubious deals here. And then, would it be impermissible for us to follow you, Master? Some among them said. These 5 individuals Yormals has so great potential in. So he was greatly surprised. He never expected them to be willing to abandon their livelihood to follow him. Thus he was troubled as to how to respond, but those who asked did not waver in the slightest. The ex-clerk smiled and said, "Murmal-sama, everyone here is your disciple. Please take these persons with you. However, without them, would you not be troubled?" "Ha ha ha ha. So you were worried about that. I too have taken to your teachings, you know." Murmels nodded once to these reassuring words. Thinking about it, trusted people with whom he had worked on important duties are truly precious, so he decided to accept the proposal. Thus, after overseeing the preparations for the move, Murmels set off towards Tempest. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. After parting with Murmiles, I sighed in relief. Thank goodness he accepted. Having a tournament is fine and all, but how should we take advantage of it? That was the thought that started this all. Even falling is not free. I ordered an urgent creation of the Colosseum, the plane on which we faced the knights in where we decided to build this grand structure. It's easy to access and otherwise convenient. We declared that the tournament will be held along with the Demon Lord proclamation ceremony. We also decided to allow any powerful being from the Jura Forest to participate. In short, we're also scouting for new recruits. Since we're becoming a legitimate state, it's probably a good idea to add more powerful beings to our ranks. Other demon lords scout for devil subordinates to increase their influence, but it's unclear whether said devils are truly strong. However, since they'll be fighting this time, we'll be able to tell their strength right away. On that note, there's a problem of few participants and too many spectators. If we only display the power of my cabinet, the vagrant devils will probably be dissuaded from rampaging at will. Those fools who decide to cause mischief regardless will be erased. If possible, I'd rather we add them to our ranks before that happens. After all, they say the angels will come invading. Though that was my first time hearing that, I hardly see a reason to stop our progress. I desire a pleasant and comfortable life, which is why it might be a good idea to further increase our fighting strength. So rather than targeting the famous clans, I would much rather gather strong individuals and confer a reward upon the winner. Monsters are hardly interested in coin, so I proclaimed that I will grant any reasonable wish. So hopefully a large number of participants will show. Otherwise, this would hardly be a show. To someone who enjoyed those end of the year fighting shows on TV, this is ideal entertainment. But there's the problem of managing capital. Viewing fee can be free as long as the Tempest is properly advertised. When I thought so, I noticed that we were lacking in personnel. There's no monster who specializes in finances. While I could do it alone, it's just too damn troublesome. And then I remembered Muir Milescoon. What a wonderful resource he is. I don't know why he got so excited, but he is even more eager than I am to put this plan into motion, perhaps even holding it as an annual event. Moreover, he even thought of a plan to sell the medicine at the event. What a terrifying individual. In that case, rather than a quickly built arena, we should probably build something more grand. Slightly panicking, I contacted Kirudo. It seems that they were in the middle of laying the foundation, so they didn't mind having to expand the size of the building. Though I initially held against box seats, I guess those would be important. By the way, the cabinet unanimously declared secret training time and vanished. Only Ranga remains as always within my shadow. Now then, since I am in Brumond, I might as well greet Fuse. Opening the door to the Brumond's Freedom Association branch, I entered, and was met with, who's that gaze? Right, every time I came, I would wear a mask, so they don't know it's me. Whatever, if he's not here, I'll just leave. With such a carefree attitude, I approached the receptionist. Yo, I'm Rimuru. Would Fuse be around? Oh, here's my guild card, I said and pulled a card from my pocket stomach. I could hear people ask, that girl is an adventurer, but I paid them no mind. The receptionist lady seemed to have remembered me. Ah, my, oh my, it has been a while. How have you been? Oh, quite fine. You also seem to be doing well. So could I meet with him? Ah, yes, please follow me. I was immediately led through. Behind me, I could hear, seriously, who is that girl? And the like. But I should probably ignore those words. And as always, I was guided towards the same room via magic circles. Inside, Fuse was holding his head. Yo, I came to play. What's wrong? Something on your mind? Well, it's been peaceful, but then suddenly a demon lord appeared. Seriously? What a menace. Why are you so relaxed? No, the demon lord is right before me, so what should I do? Oh, is that so? Then how about serving some tea? Cake might also be a good idea. Cake, huh? What the hell do you think? I could acquire such a delicacy so easily? Seriously, is it all right for you to be so carefree even as a demon lord? While complaining, he poured some tea. Unlike how he seems, he's a really pleasant guy. Thanking him, I sipped the tea and let him know the short version of the Walpurgis banquet incident, that there are 8 demon lords now called Octagram, and most importantly, that Freedom Association Guildmaster Kagura Zakayuki is somehow connected with Chaos Lord Kazarin. Fuse muttered in disbelief, but without doubting my story, he started considering countermeasures. Rather, while doubting my words, I should say. If I'm wrong, great. If I'm right, then a plan of action is absolutely necessary. It's best to stay prudent. What a reliable fellow he is. On that note, I think it would be best to use this magic item. That prevents mind control. We're also using it. And do not disclose this to anyone you don't trust. And that has nothing to do with Yuki. Understood. That's only to be expected. I'll try to look for people who can dispel brainwashing and mind control skills. He's quick on the uptake. He's already way ahead of me. Call me if anything happens, I said, taking out a communication ball and 100 gold coins. Hey, Donna, what is this? Communication device and necessary expenses. Enough? It will help, but to bring this much out, is it that serious? That it is. I don't think Ingrasha can be trusted at all by this point. Yuki has had 10 years to extend his network, you see. Fuze's expression got even more serious when I said so, and he began grumbling to himself. Seriously, things were much more peaceful before you showed up. Isn't it great you got a job and a big one at that? Fuse held his hands up as if giving up. Make it a request, he said with a face full of determination. It's tough to request of him to question his superiors. I do feel bad for him, so I decided to explain in greater detail. My real objective is the children. So I told him, if Yuki is suspicious, there's a need to save the kids. But if I handle this poorly, he'll learn that I am suspicious of him. So this must be done in complete secrecy, preferably with a third party that has no relation whatsoever with me. Fuse nodded and began to think up the strategy. Anyways, we cannot rush this. Since he hasn't noticed yet, there's no need to take any serious action. We can take this slow, so I believe we should carefully proceed here. I have accepted the request. Leave it to me. Fuse nodded and made the promise. For the time being, he'll use trusted people to search for those afflicted by mind control. If possible, he'll secure the children. There's no choice but to trust him for now. I leave it to you. And nodding, we concluded by discussing the finer details. End of chapter 99.